Welcome to the Metaphysics Hour. I am your host, Rory Colgan. Thanks for tuning in. I wanted to come to you from the park because it's a beautiful day and the office doesn't allow Sonnet to go in, at least as far as I know. The office doesn't allow dogs in there. So she gets to hang out with me and I get to hang out with you and her. I wanted to do this video because I've done some cryptocurrency videos over the years, and this one isn't so much about like, hey, this is where I'm at, this is, what I believe, and this, of course, is not financial advice, this is my personal opinion. But I had an epiphany driving over here that basically prevented me from doing my paperwork and my office work until I get this off my chest. And it's essentially understanding that God is the source of your prosperity. It is the source of your abundance. And if you can tap into either the prosperity or abundance, you are, in a real way, tapping into one of the forces of God. But it's not the only one, because if you only tap into that prosperity and that abundance, it's potential that you could be seen as greedy or experience greed. And that's a very separating energy and field. So when you can have prosperity and abundance, first and foremost, tied to the spiritual realm, to the religious realm, if you can have it there and understand that your wealth is in your spirit, it's in your soul, then you are more than likely going to handle physical wealth better. And the reason this popped into my head is, I looked at my cryptocurrency account and it was down like 3% today, which was like down, well, I guess what was it? Like down to $1,800 or something like that. And I didn't feel fear. I didn't feel a sense of lack. And I wondered why, because theoretically I just lost $1,800. And part of the reason is that I didn't pull the money out, right? I didn't sell. So that is a physical reason as to why it's not a problem. But spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and the reason it's not a problem is because I feel that my wealth comes from a source deeper than the cryptocurrency realm. One of the things I like about cryptocurrency, especially like, say, for instance, Dash or Solana or Litecoin, is that they're fixed supplies. And for Solana, I think it's better than Ethereum. It just deals with the smart contract aspect, the multiple layers that you can put into the coin a lot better. And then for Litecoin and Dash, basically Litecoin is like silver to me, digital silver. And Bitcoin slash Dash is my opinion of what gold would be. The reason I like Dash a little bit more is first thing, is that I have investments in Dash and I don't have any in Bitcoin. I sold all my Bitcoin at 77,000 and it wasn't a lot, but I profited from that transaction, but I've not hit the markets or timed the markets very well there. But the point is that Dash is just about the same supply as Bitcoin, but the ledger is privacy focused, right? So you can't track people based on their wallets. And I love privacy because that's what I think, it's part of our constitutional amendments, or at least in the Bill of Rights. I think it's the Fourth Amendment to the Constitution, that you should be secure in your person and belongings, essentially. The right to privacy is what has come from that. So I'm really big into that, and Bitcoin doesn't have that. Sure, I could have and still probably would be more of a proponent of it if I was still invested in it. But since I'm not. But regardless of that, sure, there's a feeling of limited supply, whereas the USD, the dollar, just continually inflates, right? More and more is created. Every time you go in for a loan, it's not even something that the Federal Reserve does. They determine the interest rates. And then, of course, they issue treasuries for major budgets. So they definitely inflate the currency. But just your run-of-the-mill bank inflates when you go in and get a truck loan or when you get a business loan. That money was, because of the fractional reserve system, created out of nothing. So that inflates the money supply. So that's happening in every city, every town, every community. And so that money supply keeps going up. But these cryptocurrencies, they're at a limited supply. But it's true that they're fiat, promissory. They're And of course, there's some arguments to be made about how the work is created, or how the coins are minted, like Litecoin's a proof of work. So it actually has to mine um, complex equations, essentially. But again, not to get distracted in the weeds, the point is that I can lose quote unquote money. One, because it's not actually a loss. I haven't taken the loss, so I'm still hopeful it will go up. But most importantly, the second reason, and the most important reason, is because I believe that I am a child of God. My greatest wealth is in my spirit. It's in my soul. It's something that's intangible to the senses, but can't be taken from by any government or private party. The market cannot determine my worth. And that's what I wanted to share with you, is that if you can connect with God, if you can have a relationship with God as you see it, whether it's through Jesus or Buddha or however you see God, the cosmos, if you can truly connect with that benevolence, that love of the Father, that love of the Spirit, that love that just envelops you, that love lets you know that you're going to be okay because you are okay. And there's no point in time, in history, in the future, in all of eternity, that you will be forsaken if you allow God to be in your life and allow that spiritual energy to sheathe you and to protect you against all of these illusions, all of these false realities. So the most important wealth is internal. And that's what I wanted to share with you. As, you know, the markets are going to do what the markets are going to do. Physical wealth is going to be won and lost. Your wealth is eternal and it's infinite. That's what I wanted to share with you.